Today we are going to be installing a front shell and then a full shell on an Xbox One controller. To start, you need a plastic pry bar and a T8 security screwdriver. I find it easiest to go in right here. And then do the other side. There. Then we get the screw in the battery compartment. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 screws you need to take out. Once that is done, this will lift right off. Put this on, put the 5 screws back in, and you're done with this part. For those of you that have bought a full shell, lift this out of there. We don't need that anymore because it's going to be replaced with this one or whatever one you purchased. Now, before we continue, we do have more tools that we will need. I use a battery. It's not really a tool, but I do use a battery for one thing. I use a flat screwdriver, a T6, a flat file. These 2 little grinders, or grinding wheels, or whatever they're called, I got them from this set. And there's the number of it right there if you want to search for it. It is $10, but they are great value for what I do with them. Then you might need a 1/8 inch drill. And plus, obviously, one of these, or similar. Then also, before we continue, these do not have the hole for the 3.5mm jack. The size is it is a shade bit smaller than 9/32 of an inch. This is what this drill bit would be for. And from the top edge to the center is about 7mm, and from this edge to the center is 9.2mm. You can also just completely remove it. I do have a video of taking this controller apart, and it's just sitting in there, so you can watch that and just remove it if you would like, if you don't need it. So let's continue with this one. Oh wait, also this is a newer style, the 3.5mm newer style. These ones are all separate, so you cannot put these on newer controllers. The triggers will work, but this top piece won't. Okay, now we can move on to this. First thing I usually do is take these things off, take this off. We will need that metal piece for later. And then looks like I've taken this metal piece off, and I already put it right there. But to get this off that controller, you just pry this up and you just push it through. Then you put it on here. Okay, now we are going to move to these 3. This is where the battery comes into play here. Okay, those are off. And we want to make sure that these wires do go to the other side of that pin there. So we can fold them all the way back like this one is. All the way back. Okay, those should stay there. And we pull it straight up, peel it back. And we got the sync button. Then, once we do that, we'll move on. We will need a T6. We got 2 screws right here we need to take out. We can take out these 3 screws. I've already taken all the screws out, so I can just take out this one. You will also need a pair of cutters. Forgot to include, you need a pair of cutters, some type of cutters you will need. I use them to open it up, and I use it for another reason. And there are screws right there that I've already taken out. Oh, and these are staying in there by tape. I put the wires down so I can easily just flip this up. Take this out. Pop these buttons out. No longer need these. We're going to take, we have to check these. Sometimes there's a little ridge on them, so we use the flat bar here and just flatten them down. These are already flattened down. I checked them all. And each button has a certain spot. We want to make sure that this metal piece stays, the metal piece stays down and does not come up. And I usually keep the original button in there. I don't change that. Put this back in there. We use one screw again to just temporarily hold it. So you don't need to see me put all the screws back in. And there, we get the easy part done. Now for the triggers, there are 2 screws in each one. And there are these motors in there, these will fall out. Oh, we're going to put this one back on there. You want to make sure these things are tight so there's not a gap in there. Like this, you can see there's a little bit of a gap. I really can't see it on camera, but we're going to do that to the other one also. That's a black. And if you have lost a screw, those things are magnetic, so your screw will most likely be there. Okay, that's the easy part. We want to put the wires back on the other side. Make sure there, we can put these in. This is directional, so you want to go one way. And we got the little sync button here. There is a little notch right there, if you can see it or not. Just want to cut it off. Make sure it's flat. Cut it or file it will work. Then with this, there is a inside. See right there? You basically just want to cut that off. If you don't, the sync button will not be able to be pressed in. Well, it is already pressed. This presses it in, it won't release it. So I cut that off. I've had problems with that. So then you want to check to make sure that these will fit. You want to check to make sure that this will fit on there. If it does not fit, I use one of these. I just go in there. I got my drill back there. I buzz that out. I use a little one and I buzz out the sync button. We're just going to assume they fit. I did check them, so I think they should fit. Yeah, they click. Make sure they both click. Okay. Now we have the interesting part, because there are actually 2 different controller styles already. Or actually, technically there's 3 now, but for this type of controller, there's 2. These little pegs on here can be 2 different sizes. The bottom's always going to be the same, as far as I know, as of making this video. But these, if you look at it, these are bigger, while these are smaller. These will always be smaller. So what I do, I take my 1/8 of an inch drill bit here, and I drill. This is the top. That's the top. That's the bottom. You see that. Take and drill this. Do that with the other one too. You'd always put this on the controller first to see if they fit, because you don't want to drill them out when you don't need them. Not all controllers have this bigger one. And then it fits right on there. There. We can put these on. Plastic right there. Okay, the one thing you want to do is you want to check this. Make sure all the buttons are clickable. If they're not clickable, then you need to go in, drill them out, or file them out, or whatnot. You do not want to go up and down like that, because you can chip this around here. You want to do in a circular motion, otherwise you can chip the paint. Unless, yeah, just go in circular, it makes it easier. Then remove this part. Take off the battery compartment. When you push these off, I was using my T6 here. Okay. Then take your cutters again and make sure that these right here are flat. There can be notches right there that the triggers will hit. I think this one has something on it. And sometimes even I've actually just cut this whole entire thing off right here, because it's just in the way. It's not formed right. But here we have the biggest problem that happens while installing a third-party shell. I don't know if this controller has or not. There we go. Is these can hit right there. This one is not hitting. This one is hitting just a little bit. You can't see it, it doesn't stick, but you can feel it when you pull it down, and that to me would get annoying. So then what I do, so we switch here. And this way we want to be going forward, and if we do this side we want to go backwards. So what I do is I just drill this out. And we drill that, file it down. You can take a curved knife and kind of carve it away. I have a curved knife. I do have a curved knife right here. A curved knife, and just carve it away. That might work. You can go through this. It's only plastic, so don't try not to wreck the outside of it. We put it like this. We hold it right here in the middle, we hold it right here, and we check it again. It is good. And we can put the top on. We know the buttons work because we checked those earlier. They all press down. We put the 5 screws back in. We put these back on, and then we are done. But wait, that clicks. That can click. So all you want to do is get a piece of foam. I have a big reel here. Get a piece of foam and put it in there, stick it in there, or glue it in there. I wouldn't glue it in there. I would get an adhesive foam so it doesn't, otherwise you get that every single time you click it, it clicks. So, other than that, your controller's done. Let's just put this just together here just to make it look how it would look to you all together. I didn't put the screws back in, but white spot. It's your controller. So, and if anything, if you do have the 3.5 millimeter jack, screw in right there somewhere if you want to. If not, just remove it. I personally don't need it because I got that adapter already, so there's no point for me to have the jack. But oh, these things are plastic. You know, sometimes they come a little bent out like that, and you just gotta, when you put them together, just hold them down there. They're not threaded, so they will go in a little bit harder the first time. Make sure they're tight, but make sure to not over tighten them. If you over tighten them, you can strip them, and then you just gotta go find a bigger screw. So I think that's everything I needed to mention in this video. Hopefully it helps. I mean, you can just leave the tape on there. I'm not gonna do anything. But thanks for watching.